You have 18-year-olds driving lights and sirens, and they think that it is kind of fun sometimes. It's kind of cool.
It was shocking to me.
Yeah, it was such a change. But then they'll be hauling ass to Mima falling for the 10th time this week. Can we slow down? What's the rush? I got a 1.5-year-old at home. I got to be here. What are you doing?
They're driving like we're going to a gunshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's just a fall.
Yeah, you got Mima fell again at the nursing home. Can we slow it down? You're sitting there talking about how BS this call is as you're driving 30 over the speed limit. Relax.
Soundstripe.
Welcome to In Service, the EMS podcast, where frontline experience meets leadership insight. Hosted by Jason Falvey, a seasoned paramedic and EMS leader with over 30 years in the field. This show brings you conversations with people shaping emergency medical services today. From street-level medics to innovators on the bleeding edge of EMS, we dive into real stories, leadership strategies, and what it takes to build high-performing teams in high-stakes environments. Let's get in service.
We copy you down, Eagle.
John Duplantis. John, with over 3 decades of paramedic experience, has consistently demonstrated clinical excellence in leadership. He is known for his unwavering presence and composure during high-acuity calls. Beyond his clinical expertise, John is committed to mentorship, shaping the future of EMS providers. His contributions have been recognized with numerous professional awards, including multiple CARES Awards. John's impact extends beyond the field, leaving a lasting impression within the EMS community. Logan Durham. Logan, a paramedic at the beginning of his EMS journey, enters the field with enthusiasm, curiosity, and a strong desire to serve. As he transitions from classroom learning to real-world patient care, he learns to balance the fast-paced nature of emergency medicine with the personal aspect of connecting with patients and crews. Logan's story provides a unique perspective on the challenges and opportunities of starting out in EMS, as well as the excitement of building a career that makes a positive impact. These are the paramedics you know. All right, good morning. Hey, guys, thank you for coming in. John and Logan, or Logan and John.
Good morning.
Good morning.
John and Logan.
John, we'll stick that way.
He goes first.
That's
Okay.
respect.
All right. That's all right.
All right. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting discussion because we have both ends of the spectrum here. John, you've been a paramedic now how long?
Since 1992.
90. All right. So you're in it. You've got more time than me. And Logan?
I was born in 98. I got my EMT in 2020, and I got my medic last year.
Oh, so good, right? So both ends of the spectrum, and EMS has changed a lot in 30 years, quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
So, John, tell us where you grew up. Where are you from?
I grew up.
This is going to be a long episode. This is going to be a really long episode.
Go ahead. Tell us where you grew up. Where are you from?
I grew up in southern Louisiana, a city called Houma in Terrebonne Parish, Bayou Coast.
How far from New Orleans is that?
63 miles south of New Orleans, kind of between Grand Isle and New Orleans. Frequent in both places growing up. A lot of wildlife. We did a lot of fishing. Did not hunt, but I did enjoy growing up there. Gave me a lot of freedom as a child. Spent a lot of time outdoors and not on video games. Logan. Video games, it was not a thought.
Because they didn't exist.
But I can't say I was into that too much. I was more deep in the woods. We'd take our canoes, what we call pirogues, up and down the bayou, our pellet guns. Sometimes walk for miles.
A lot of gators.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, occasionally, the bayou would change in levels, and you'd see rattlesnakes on the side, coiled up. But it's just a simpler time, exciting for me because I enjoyed that more over today's fast-paced, busy technology. I'm not saying today it's not more convenient or easier. It was just a simpler time.
And you've got sons. How many?
I have 4 sons. My youngest is 23, oldest is 29, And then I have a stepson. He's 26, and stepdaughter, she's 32.
Wow.
Yeah.
Logan, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I spent most of my life here in Georgia. My mom's side of the family is from Rhode Island. Spent a lot of time up there.
I know it well.
I love Rhode Island. You can walk about 5 minutes in any direction and hit 10 Dunkin' Donuts and a Starbucks and a delicious pizza place.
Rhode Island's about the size of Cherokee County.
I love Rhode Island. If it wasn't so far away, I would definitely want to live there. But I spent most of my time here in Georgia. Did some time in the military. I was in South Georgia a little bit. Did some time in Texas as well. But for the most part, here in like the metro Atlanta area.
What inspired you to get into EMS?
I never really thought about it. EMS was never something I really wanted to get into. I never thought about it. I went to college for criminal justice. I got my associates, and then I joined the military, came back from the military, finished my bachelor's, and policing just wasn't for me. Law enforcement, I didn't really fit in with what I wanted to do. Didn't want to carry around a gun, and I guess like the whole political climate around police wasn't very good at the time, so that definitely swayed my opinion. And so I just needed to find something to do. I already had my EMT from being a medic in the Army, so I kind of just said, I'll just try this and see how it goes, and here I am.
That's great. John, what got you into EMS?
Out of high school, I was into fast food, not just eating it, but
Were you in charge of the fry later?
no, I was more of a pizza
guy.
Pizza
Yeah.
type of guy. I did everything from delivery to the management side of it. And they even tried to get me to manage a store, but I said, no, I think I'm going to explore the option of EMS. That's when I went to EMT school with a private service in the area. And I liked it. It was a rush. Of course, I was young. Everything's a rush back then. I spent a little over a year as an EMT. Then I ventured off at the medic school. Some of that, I can look back, the people that were my age that I am now, they were really prehistoric as far as what went on in EMS in the past, how they operated, how they ran calls. There's no structure. It's just you heard the call go out, race to the call, see who gets there first.
Wow.
That was their mentality, and wasn't anything beyond that. Really basic treatment, but I can't say that college wasn't for me. So I figured this was the next best thing, and next thing I'm into it, all hands on deck, just family, married, kids start popping out. I'm 4 deep in children-wise, and so I'm committed to EMS, and back then the money was not there, so I spent a lot of time working. It's come a long way as far as the financial aspect of it. I could say I'm the happiest I've ever been as far as money-wise.
Right. Would have been nice to have that 30 years ago.
10 to 15 years ago would have been nice, but I'm happy for the people coming into it, that they have more to stand on.
Yeah.
But I do believe the people coming into it have more to offer. Like Logan himself has a bachelor's degree, where most people, when I came into it, did not have that.
Yeah.
It was not a sought-after career. But I see people coming in with a foundation from college, and beyond. College will not make or break you here. You have to have a strong will behind you. You want to do good, or you want to help people, but you can tell whether someone will progress in this field. Just whether they have a level of common sense that'll go a long way in how they run their shifts, treat their patients, and go home at the end of the day. But
Right.
that's a whole nother topic.
So you guys have actually worked many shifts together. Even Logan, even before you became a paramedic,
A
worked
lot of
Jen.
shifts.
You guys have any particular calls that stand out that you've run together or even separately?
Yeah, I mean, I initially chose to work with John in the beginning because the FTO program in the beginning for new hires was very short. It was only 3 rides. So I did 2 rides with other people that were very nice to me. And they were like, oh, you'll be fine. You don't really need anything to work on. And then I rode with John, and he told me the truth, and that I have a lot of work to do. And no one else had really done that with me. So that kind of stuck with me. And I was like, I'm going to pick up a bunch of shifts with this guy because he's the only one who's going to tell me the truth on what I need to hear. So we worked a lot of shifts together. I would assume it was probably really miserable for him in the beginning because I was 20 years old and probably really immature. Not that I'm super mature now, but so I would imagine the beginning was really awful for him, but I had a good time. And I think it was either my first or second cardiac arrest. I worked with John. I couldn't have been an EMT for more than maybe a month or two. I don't think it had been a super long time since I'd been working 911. It was, we got dispatched to a cardiac arrest. We arrived before the fire department. I think the call initially came out as an unconscious person or something. And we got escorted to the patient by all 700 of his family members, and he was behind a car.
Was it a family reunion?
Yes, yeah, it was a family reunion. And they're all out on the porch. There's, I swear, like a million people there, and they escort us to this guy laying on the ground. He's got his phone next to him that's still on. I think he was on the phone talking with someone else, and yeah, he's just dead.
I think I looked at you in my mind or out loud. I said, damn.
Yeah, I was just frozen in fear. John, please tell me what to do. I don't know what's going on.
I've ran calls like that before. You kind of look around, you know what's there, but you blot it out, and you just focus in on what you have to do. I knew Logan had it in him, so just started our treatment, and you have your family members hollering in the background. And
was this guy a VFib arrest, or what was his presenting rhythm?
Originally, I think it was started out with PEA. We just went through our motions, hooked him up onto Lucas. Of course, it was just me and him. Had him on the monitor, getting IV access, getting airway established, and Logan can continue from there. Yeah, he has.
I didn't do any of that stuff. That was all John. Yeah. I was a basic at the time, so all of those things were done by John. I think I put the Lucas on. I got pretty good and fast at putting the Lucas on, and then I probably just stood there like an idiot.
We worked as a team. Yeah. I did have to prod him a little bit, but he has a special way of describing me as I was intubating the patient. I'll let him cover that.
It was pretty I don't think I'd ever seen anyone intubated at this point. Everyone just used the high gels as front line, and I think it's like an old head thing to just tube people who need to be tubed. You don't mess with the supraglottics. So he's just like sitting there. It was hot. I just remember how hot it was. I think we had been approved to wear shorts maybe this year. I don't really remember. But I just remember it was so hot. It was probably like 90 degrees. We're baking in the sun with this guy. John is just pouring sweat. Like, it is just dripping off of him as he's trying to tube this guy. I'm just watching in awe. I had never seen this done before. This is the craziest thing. I feel like that call settled EMS for me. Like, I was just kind of going through trying to figure out what I really wanted to do. And then that call was like, this is the coolest job ever. I got to do this for a living. This is crazy. He's just tubing this guy out in the sun. Like, I'm just standing here like a buffoon just watching him do his thing. But
and no partner agencies yet, right?
It took them a good minute. I don't know.
When they arrived, after we've been through the initial phase of the call, and of course I'm sweating, we tried to get to where we needed to be, and they arrive, and we're both kind of looking at each other, better late than never. But it's just, I've had those type of calls before where you're just surrounded by people, and as long as you're doing what needs to be done, if you can focus and not so much on the people that might be yelling or telling you should be doing something more or whatever, everything will pan out. That's just, now it's not to say that I don't want to just pick up the person and run with them and get in behind closed doors. Sure I do. But sometimes you can't do that, you know.
I think like your management of scenes on cardiac arrest with the family and everything is paid off all the way from me getting my paramedic and running that cardiac arrest at the public park here in our local area. There was so many people there. There was probably like 30 to 40 people right up above us recording me while I was working this arrest as the primary paramedic. And something that John told me was just ignore it. They're not there. They don't exist. You're there to do your job. Nothing else matters.
Not saying that you're not aware of your surroundings. It's just you're controlling your mind
Yeah.
And I think I've perfected that for myself. And not to say that there are not days where I don't feel overwhelmed, but I try to rein it in. But that's to be expected.
The largest audience that I was in front of working an arrest was at a high school during a play. And the grandmother went down in the back row. We got her back, actually. I ended up pacing her there, got capture before we began transporting. But I don't know, 1,000 people, everybody interested in what's going on.
Were there cell phones invented at this point? So was there people recording you, or were those not a thing yet?
Mid-90s, I think that was.
So like the Nokia, the BlackBerry.
Yeah, bag phone. Everybody had a bag phone.
Flip phones, like Motorola's.
I don't think video was involved.
No, you didn't have to worry about your face coming up on the internet.
Yeah. It adds a new dimension to it, though.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about you're running through what you're going to do and looking at your algorithm, and then you got 1,000 people around you.
Often, occasionally, when it pops up in my mind to maybe search for whatever happened on those particular calls on YouTube, see if I come up. Yeah.
That one that I had, that was all over Facebook.
Wow.
Yeah, him floating down the water and all that stuff was all over. So got to see what happened before I got there, and then got to see videos of other people recording us doing our thing. Got to see a cop jump in the water and pull him out, which was pretty crazy. So it does add a little dynamic of, you get to see the effort that everyone else put in
Is this
before I got
the
there.
one reason that I went to?
Yes.
Yeah, it adds a whole nother adds a whole nother level to just working an arrest when you got that audience.
Yeah, I was just a crazy call, probably the craziest arrest I've ever ran. I've never had so much vomit. It was disgusting. It was awful. Horrible experience.
Yeah. You'll have many more.
Thank you for that. Can't wait.
Yeah, get used to it. So, John, you are not just a paramedic here, you're also a field training officer. Tell us about that.
I was a lead for several years. They did change over to the FTO model. Then it seemed like the next course of action.
Yeah, good fit.
Yeah, there's different levels of FTO. Personally, like, I do things my way. You have another person that is more of a teaching model. I'm more of I'd say, practitioner. I can teach anybody out in the field all day long, but if you push me, I could teach somebody in the classroom, but that's not my desire. I think every service deserves people for both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Some people are well-rounded enough to where they could do both. I think it takes many different types of people to teach or lead people in this business when they first come into it, whether they listen to you or follow your instruction. But it's not to say that they'll do everything like you. You'll give them the foundation, and then they'll build upon that.
Right.
Because everyone is different.
Do you feel that EMS education programs are producing providers ready for the realities of the field?
We've all seen people come through here that they might be smart, but they just don't have what it takes. In the end, it's not saying they're a bad person. It's just it takes a special type of person to be successful in EMT, paramedic, and what you experience on the street. Yeah, there are programs that are out there now that can make you well-rounded knowledge-wise, but it'll be you and you alone to kind of enhance that or build upon that.
Yeah, and the reality is that not everybody can function in the environments that we function in and see the things we're seeing, smell the smells, and be able to focus in very chaotic conditions. That's just the reality of it. What do you think, Logan?
My paramedic program was an accelerated program. I think it was like 8.5 months. I spent a lot of time on the street. I think I did 560 hours of clinicals, all in a county close to the city of Atlanta. So I did a lot of hours there, probably like 120 more than I actually had to do. I did really well in school. I was definitely like probably the top performer in terms of grades and skill scenarios and all that stuff. I did my rides here after I passed my exam. I did my upgrade rides, had no issues, never really ran anything critical. I got cleared from my rides during my morning shift, and then so I picked up a night shift to ride my first night as a paramedic. I was supposed to be double medic. We got split up. So it was me with a brand new EMT, and my very first call was a respiratory arrest. I was not prepared at all. I think that riding double paramedic for the first period of time in the beginning is super, super important. I wish that I had that because this patient almost had a really bad outcome. I was horrified. I did not know what to do. I was panicked. I was by myself, it felt like, on the way to the hospital after they transitioned from severe distress into full respiratory arrest. So that was my very first call as a paramedic, and I felt like I was very much not prepared at all.
Individuals finishing up their paramedic training should be allowed to be with another medic for a period of time. It's more about you don't just want to throw them the keys and say good luck, which is what was done to me. But it gives them that option to pull on the other person's knowledge or where it would be good for them so they're not so traumatized, and for the company. Because there's a lot of liabilities with having this much responsibility.
An EMT or an advanced EMT that's been in the field for a number of years, and then they transition to paramedic, they've had the opportunity to see a respiratory distress. If they're working with you, John, and you come upon a severe respiratory distress, you're going to stop moving with a sense of urgency. There are things you're going to be doing. And the EMT or the advanced EMT is going to pick up on that so that when they do transition to medic, they've seen all ranges of respiratory distress, and they'll more readily recognize that person in severe distress and act accordingly because they've gotten that experience. And it's harder for you, Logan, right? I'm sure you've seen a bunch of respiratory distress calls, but when it's you and you alone, and now all those decisions fall upon you, yeah, that's a hard place to be. It really is.
It's super stressful. I was 25 years old as a paramedic. I've got all these EMTs and firefighter EMTs and paramedics all looking at me to make that decision, and it's definitely a lot being younger. I'm 25, but I probably most days look like I'm 17. I get that I look really young a lot, so it can be even harder. I think the fire department's just jealous of my mustache.
It could be.
Yeah,
I would say the hair.
Yeah.
Did you say mustache? Tilt your head up a little bit. Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Listen, you've done incredibly well. We are very proud of what you've done. You've come a very long way, and you're on your way to having a great career. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he holds himself stoically on scenes. I've told them this on many occasions. You can recognize simply how they carry themselves on scenes. We've worked together. He does well. He does everything I would, gaining information about the patient and from the firefighters, and so he manages well.
We mentioned this a little bit earlier on. Logan was talking about how he did a couple of rides and then rode with you, and you gave him some very honest feedback. So how do you handle a situation where a new provider may not be recognizing that they're lacking?
I normally try to. I know everybody's different. They learn in their own particular way. So you shouldn't really come down on a person hard. There's certain times where they assess what?
Sorry. I noticed that your headset's on backwards, and it just made me laugh to myself. I just found that to be so funny to me. It's not like it makes a difference.
Does it work? Actually, I can hear better. No, just kidding. Let me see where I was. It's as simple as you talk about managing a scene, whether it's gathering your information through dispatch or on your computer telling you what they possibly know what it is or the details about it. And you get there, and I can walk into a call, and without asking questions, I know which way I need to go, whether it's the stress of the patient or the scene itself.
What do you think is the most challenging call to run? Because you've pretty much run every type of call out there.
I think pediatrics would be my first. Whether it's just a generally unstable pediatric or a pediatric that still has their ability to know what's going on and basically searching or longing for their parents, those are really hard to really hone in on what you need to do because you're trying to console them, or if you hopefully you can get the parent with the child, but something about the ear piercing crying, whereas a younger medic, I could handle it all day long, but now it's something that really gets to me. But
and we don't run those in great frequency, so
comparative to all the other calls, no, they come and go far and few between, which I'm good with. The real bad psychiatric calls, those can be challenging because, as you know, now you try to talk to a person that's certifiably nuts,
diagnosed
with psychiatric issues. You'll know the difference between someone that just might want attention or someone who is there, because there's no reasoning with that person.
Yeah.
And that can be very challenging to try to get that person where they are, from where they are to where they need to go. But those are my two. But usually they pan out.
How do you approach a call like that? Do you spend, for me, typically it's 20, 30 minutes. I'll spend that trying to convince them to go. And at some point, you have to shift because you could be there for 8 hours.
Yeah. The psychiatric calls are typically ones you'd spend way more time on scene. If I already know in my mind that they need to go and I see no avenue, I'm already taking steps to call med control or just to talk with the doctor to make sure I'm on that right path, and more than likely drawing up my medications to solve the problem. Pediatrics, it's more they're going to cry the whole way if they're upset or if they're ill or hurting. But utilizing one of the parents with you, it tends to be a comfort for them. Maybe sometimes not 100%, but it allows you to get the ball rolling, to get their treatment started, or to get them to the hospital quicker so they can have more definitive care.
Yeah. And Logan, what would you say? What is the most difficult call for you to run? And I know as a newer paramedic, you did have a pediatric arrest.
Yeah, I think I'd been a paramedic for a month and a half, maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like
and you were right on top of it when that call dropped.
It sucked. So, too late.
Yeah.
Too late.
Your stomach drops.
Yeah, because it didn't come out as a dead kid. It came out as a sick adult. And I was with an EMT who's currently in paramedic school, who I trust very much, and he's a great provider. But he was brand new as well. He was brand new EMT. I was a brand new medic. It was like 4 a.m. We get this call right around the corner for a sick adult, and it was early, so our radios are turned down kind of low. We're right next door to the call. It's in the apartment complex next to where we're posted. So we're cruising in, and we walk in, and there's Mom doing CPR on this baby in the hallway, who happens to be the same exact age as my 3-month-old son. So it hurt. That call sucked. It was really bad. It was the first time I had intubated a person in the field, which happened to be a 3-month-old. It was the first time I owed someone, which happened to be a 3-month-old. Luckily, I always carry like PD tape with me. I always have my PD tape in my back pocket.
Your Braslo?
Yeah, the Braslo pediatric tape. I think it's super helpful, way more helpful than the PD wheels or whatever that they make. But so I laid that out, and then I went over the channel at the local city and told them that we were working a 3-month-old arrest and to pick it up. And yeah, me and him just worked that arrest for a good few minutes until PD arrived. And then they were able to grab some extra stuff from us for the truck and able to take over on CPR so I could do some other things. But having to teach that cop how to do infant CPR was, I think, a pretty rough thing for them. And then we had that incident debrief after. I got to hear the dispatch and everything that they heard and why the confusion came in the beginning from them. And it was interesting to hear like how it affects the dispatchers differently than us. They hear us arrive on scene and then they hang up, and that's the end for them. They never get any answers of what happened, or is the kid okay? And the kid was not okay. The kid had a bad outcome. But that was a pretty awful call. I think I'd been a medic for just a short time.
Unknown downtime.
Yeah. So it was unknown really what happened. I think it was like a single mom, and she fell asleep with the baby on her chest and then woke up and baby's face down in the bassinet. So it was pretty pretty awful. And single moms, I can't imagine how tired she was. The only time I ever see bags like that under someone's eyes is when they work in EMS. So John's pointing at himself.
You've got a good set there, John.
Yeah,
Thanks.
You can definitely tell he's been doing this a while. But yeah, it was a pretty awful call. I found myself like really reverting back to my training. I think the first thing I did was walk over to baby and I tapped the baby and said, "Baby, can you hear me?" That was the first thing I did.
Yeah.
I felt so dumb doing it, but I just like fully reverted back. Pretty awful call.
Yeah.
Pretty terrifying. Especially being there for so long. We could hear PD's cars like screeching up, and then they walked in and helped us, and then I hear supervisor's car screeching up. I wonder how many drive cams he got on the way there. And then the fire department arrived shortly after, and we transported it. PD blocked like every intersection on the way to the hospital. It was a lot of effort put in, but that baby was dead, and there was no changing that, unfortunately. I didn't realize that until we were in the ambulance on the way to the hospital, and we're about to pull up, and I'm trying to gather my thoughts to give a good report. And I'm just like, if this was an adult, we wouldn't have even transported. This kid's dead.
Yeah.
And then I think I made it probably 20 seconds in the trauma room of giving a report before I just lost it. I could not think straight. I couldn't even focus. I felt so sick. And that was the end of the day for me. I went home after that.
Yeah. You did really well on that call, though. You ran that like a professional.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it was a good learning experience, I think, for me and my partner both. Now, whenever he has the unfortunate situation that he has to work a pediatric arrest, at least he's done it before.
Yeah.
So
I think overall, it's a bad situation, but it can be good for you developing your skills and the way you do things or handle things in the future. Yeah.
It's probably one of the most challenging calls you can run as a medic, and you ran it early on and performed very well.
Some people go years before having that.
I
Yeah.
think it comes down to the hours. I put in 5 or 6 12-hour shifts a week.
Yeah.
So when you put in that many hours,
You go back to 24-hour shifts. We saw a lot of that because we were on the streets more and we'd pick up overtime. I had 2 sits on the 24-hour shift back to back.
Yeah.
that's disgusting,
Yeah.
I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think the time that I've put in over the past year and a half, I've put in a lot of hours. So I think it just gives me, everyone always calls me a black cloud, but I think it's just, I work a lot, so I have a lot more opportunity
You
to
get
run.
more exposure.
Yeah, just a lot more calls. I definitely run a lot of the same non-emergency calls as everyone else, but if you run 7 calls that don't need an ambulance and you run your one that actually does, you do that 6 days a week, you just get a lot more exposure to calls.
And so about how many calls a shift are you running now?
So it really depends. Some days I run 2, and then on 2 days ago, I think I had 8 or 9 transports. So it really just depends. It depends who I'm working with and how fast we're turning over at the hospital, where we're transporting to. So if we're transporting to our local hospital, I have a really good relationship with the charge nurses. Like, we'll just turn and burn. And so sometimes I may get 8 or 9, and it's a busy day, but that day flies by.
Yeah.
So it really depends. In a week, I may,
You could run anywhere from 20 to 50 calls in a week.
yeah.
I run more with him.
Yeah.
Usually way more than I ever do.
Because I don't like to sit at the hospital. The faster I
He's
get
a
out of the
machine.
hospital,
Logan's a machine
He's
when it comes to
efficient.
running calls. He is efficient, too.
I like to get back to my post so I can play my video games and watch my movies in peace.
What do you think are the most important skills or qualities an EMT can bring into this profession?
Beyond your training, empathy to the people you care for. There's some people that,
There's got to be a willingness to learn, right, and take feedback.
right, absolutely.
Because nobody can be prepared for, just like the call you just spoke about.
There's going to be some people that need you,
Yeah.
some people that don't, but you're going to, if you got to transport, you're going to transport anyway. I mean, it's just to be able to open up your caring side and do what you need to do. There's been times throughout my career that where, when I talk about a roller coaster, the other day I said a roller coaster, I said a roaster coaster. But I've been up and down.
It fits, too.
Yeah, I've been down, real down, but I managed to pull myself back up. It's where you choose to leave your mind Physical is another part.
Yeah.
We all hurt from day to day. Beyond empathy, just their willingness to learn.
Yeah.
Be open to someone else critiquing them, whether you're doing it right or wrong. Don't come to the plate, I know everything,
Yeah.
because you don't. And I think if you already have that mindset, if you're not willing to break from that, you won't take anything in. It's a possibility you won't be successful.
What do you think, Logan?
I think my generation and the generations younger just don't have any resiliency to take feedback at all. Everything is an insult. And that's something the military taught me is if you're doing something wrong, someone's going to tell you you're doing something wrong. So when I came in, I expected EMS to be the same way. That someone would tell me wrong in the beginning. It wasn't like that. But John would just tell me things should be done this way. You can tell like a old head EMS provider based on the way they set up their stretcher. Do they buckle the buckles and then wrap it in a loop and tuck it under and then make a nice little sheet and set it down on the stretcher? That's such like a subtle detail, but I think it looks professional. It looks good. If your uniform looks good, if you look good, you're not gut hanging out of your shirt, not shaven. I think how you look, your image is super important. The military was big on that, being on time and having a good attitude. It's okay to not have empathy for every patient, right? You get a little empathy drained when it's your 7th BS call in a row, but learning how to just fake that empathy for 30 minutes is super important. I can tell you, these people who are going to the hospital for no reason whatsoever, I'm not going to be mean to them. That's not a good thing to do, but I also don't feel empathetic towards them. I think that they're making like a dumb decision to call 911, but I'm not going to sit there and berate them. I'm just going to fake that I care about their problem.
And we're not paid to judge people on why they want to go or not want to go. We're there to assess them, treat them, and transport them if necessary.
You could not say anything to them if your whole inner self is about you shouldn't have called. You're going to exude that towards them, and they're going to feel it. Because I've been in that situation in the past when certain people I worked with that kind of brought it out of me. I kind of fell into that, and I knew it.
You've had some challenging partners over 30 years.
Partners.
Yeah.
You've had some challenging partners over 30 years.
The Northern coming out.
They were challenging. I've always said I can work with just about anybody. There's some people that if I don't want to work with them, it's not that I couldn't. It's just I feel like they were either safety risks or my sanity was on the brink. It's just, and I wouldn't be the only one saying that. It's multiple people, but it's just.
That was probably his first week of working with me. He's probably going home like, man, babe, I work with the dumbest kid ever this week. He won't stop picking up with me.
Yeah, I've worked with people in the past, that.
I just like the way you phrase that.
Most people think I'm a a-hole if they don't know me, but I do talk, and you'll bring it out of me eventually. But there's people I worked with from way back when I first started here.
John, I've always known you to be a very nice person, and you're very straight with people. If something's not going well, you're going to let them know, and I think that's important. It's a kindness.
Yeah, and even if I don't like you, you might know about the lack of things I say to you, but I'll never be mean to you.
Yeah.
But,
that's a Southern gentleman right there.
Yeah, unless you need me to be mean to you, and then it'll happen.
Why are you both looking at me? What did I do?
You want to expand on the question?
What was the question? I forgot.
What qualities or skills should an EMT bring into the field or bring with them the first day?
I think resiliency is a big one. What I talked about earlier, I think you got to be able to take some feedback. You're coming into a profession not knowing anything about it, and you went to EMT school and you learned the way that the textbook wants you to do things, and then here's the real world, right? You're responding to 90% not real emergencies. Yeah. You need to be prepared for that. And I think that the age of people is getting much younger getting into this field. Like even just when I started, no one would hire me under the age of 21 to drive lights and sirens to calls. Like a lot of places were not hiring people under 21 to do that because there's a huge liability risk. Now you have 18-year-olds driving lights and sirens, and they think that it is kind of fun sometimes. It's kind of cool.
It was shocking to me.
Yeah, it was such a change. But then they'll be hauling ass to Mima falling for the 10th time this week. Can we slow down? What's the rush? I got a 1.5-year-old at home that eats a whole fridge worth of food. I got to be here. I got to make money. What are you doing?
They're driving like we're going to a gunshot.
Yeah,
when it's just a fault.
Yeah, you got Mima fell again at the nursing home. Can we slow it down? You're sitting there talking about how BS this call is as you're driving 30 over the speed limit. Relax. Mima's gonna be fine.
Take it easy. Let's take this in stride.
Yeah, let's just relax a little bit. Have some resiliency. Take criticism well. If someone's giving you criticism, it's because they like you. It's because they want you to succeed. When I have people that have bad attitudes and they say things that I don't like and I really don't like working with them, I don't give them feedback. I don't tell them ways that they can improve because they've already proven to me that this job probably isn't for them in the first place. If someone's giving you constructive feedback and they're criticizing you and telling you the way that things should be done, it's because they like you. It's because they want you to succeed. That's kind of like EMS, fire, the military. Like, we're tough on the people that we like. We make jokes. We make fun of the people that we like. We're hard on the people that we like. And that's just kind of the way it is. And it's good to have a little bit of resiliency. Take that constructive criticism and do better and improve and perform on your next call. And people will notice that when you pick up after yourself. I think that's a big thing is people don't understand that. Clean up. Make the truck look good. There shouldn't be blood anywhere. Your stretcher should be made neatly. You should restock things where they need to go. Ask questions if you have questions. But I think tuck in your uniform shirt. Quit looking homeless.
Put your boots on. Take off your tennis shoes.
I always wear tennis shoes. I never wear boots.
As long as they're black.
They're black.
Yeah, maturity. Maturity probably plays a big part. If you can't handle criticism and you're just stewing about everything, maybe you're not mature enough. You just can't wrap your mind around the whole thing, what's going on. Yeah. A lot of people that come into this business don't take everything into account. They think everything's going to be rescue rig type of stuff. You're going to be just like the fire department, go back to the station. That's not us. We do everything from could be a lift assist to the most devastating a day a person can have. But I think, maturity, just that, to me, that's a big part of this job.
What do good paramedics do every day or every shift that make them good?
I think, like he was talking about, just presentation of yourself. Yeah, we all know we don't take care of ourselves like we should, health-wise. We can do a lot to improve. But the way you present yourself at the beginning of your shift, the way you look, a uniform, your attire. I've never been one to come in here with a shirt untucked and just not looking the part.
Yeah, you always look good, professional.
I try to.
He does always look sharp, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Thanks. It's, you can play the part, but you also got to perform. Be on time, not dosing yourself up with all kind of caffeine, kind of keep it at moderate. And then whether you need work on your protocols or you're not sure about things, you want to improve your patient care, maybe rehashing some of that during the day. It'll only make yourself, you feel more positive about people that you treat. You won't be unsure yourself. You won't get that call. You'll be like trying to find out what you got it as a overdose for pediatric or whatever. You're not spending your entire time to the call looking these things up. If you rehash these things and have those moments where you're ingrained in your mind, I think that can make you a better paramedic. Not just being complacent, taking things for granted that it'll just pop up in your mind. You always got to be a learned type of person.
Yeah, the prepared mind triumphs.
Remove the cognitive overload. If you're prepared, that cognitive overload is gone. That's why I carry the PD tape, because it removes that cognitive overload to where that's one less thing that I have to think about. When I'm in that stressful situation, now I don't have to worry about that. I can just pull that out. Even on the way to a call, I'm dispatched to a 1-year-old seizure. I can pull out that PD tape, find the ideal body weight of a 1-year-old, flip all the way to the back, and there's my intramuscular and intranasal Versa dosage. And it's not written in milligrams, it's written in milliliters, what I have to actually draw up. So now I have that all written out on a glove, and if I walk in and I need it, then I can just draw it up, and that's the end of it. And if I don't need it, I'm prepared if it happens again. So I think removing that cognitive overload is huge. And if you're hitting your books and you're studying and you're knowing your protocols, it's one less thing that you have to worry about.
I think probably one of the biggest things new providers can do is reviewing their protocols every shift. Even when I came down here and started working, every shift I would pull up a protocol and read through it. And I read all of them and then started over again. Because having that information fresh in your mind, knowing what your options are when you get to the bottom of the protocol, because you may never get to the bottom of the protocol.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. But knowing what they are, what your dosages are, what your contraindications are, it really helps take that cognitive overload off. It makes you better prepared for the call.
If you look good, right? We've already talked about looking good. If you look good, your stretcher looks sharp, you have all of your equipment the way that you should walking into a call, you're not leaving things behind, and you know what you're talking about and you know what to do, then you're going to perform good. And I think that's super important. Although it may not be an emergency in your eyes, for them, it's an emergency. And when they see someone walk in, another agency responded first with their T-shirt on and their beer belly hanging out the front and their untucked boots, and they just look homeless. And then you pull up, you look professional. Things that you say sound smart, whether it's true or not, who knows? And you're polite and nice and you introduce yourself. I think it just makes for a better patient experience.
You got it.
You always need that one person on scene that can think clearly and their mind can run free whatever they need to do. They're not inhibited. Logan's right. Yeah, you need to be that person that can take command, take charge, and get that patient to where they ultimately need to be.
How do you guys balance life and work?
At the moment, I don't really. I just spend a lot of time here. Yeah, I can't really say anything about that. I don't really do anything other than work right now.
I know you've got a lot of hobbies, John, I know you're a big collector of spoons from the different places you've
and
visited.
Rocks. He likes rocks,
and
too.
collect rocks.
Yeah.
That's nice. Tell us about your favorite spoon.
I stare at things a lot, objects.
Just blankly.
Yeah. It's a bad habit of mine. I admit I could have more activity in my life. I think in my younger years, not to say that I've had the easiest past 35 years, but really not. I've had a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
I didn't even say anything.
I think it's the look you just shot him.
I thought you were going to say something. That's why I looked at you.
Your family,
I said it in my head.
Yeah.
going home, your family, I think, helps to take a lot of the stress of the work off and everything going on with them.
Depends on your family.
You go through cycles. Logan's cycle is he's coming into his own with his family. Me, I'm going out. It's just your kids grow up, they move out, or they don't leave, which is, I got a little bit of both, and it's always tried and true. Your little four-legged buddies are always waiting for you when you get home.
Yeah, they're always excited to see you.
Yeah. I love my wife, yeah.
Just had to throw that in case she's listening.
But, we all get thrown challenges in our life. It's just all depending on how you choose to work through it. But, we go out of town here and there, like going up to the mountains. Love going and walk the dogs, whether it's around the neighborhood or in the park. I think it's important to have an outlet outside of work. Too many people choose the easier outlet, which is doing nothing, whether it's substance abuse or what have you. It's the newer people probably have never experienced something like that. But as time goes on, things will stand in your way that you might choose the easier route, but you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
I like to hang out with my family when I get home. That's pretty much, I either cook or I play video games or I just hang out with my wife and son. My son is always doing something hilarious or tripping and falling and bouncing off the floor. So that's usually the end of the day for me. My wife isn't working, so it makes that easy. So whenever I have a day off, we just go do something, whatever it is, whether it's go to the aquarium or just hang out around the house with the little guy.
Yeah, those were the good times I can remember with my children. 6 months in that range, just so playful.
Yeah.
I know that's what I did this morning because I just
Playing with the little tiger.
just walked into his crib and he was just in there doing whatever babies do. I would love to spend a day in his brain to see what actually happens.
No stress at all.
He's just wiggling around in there, just yelling, screaming, giggling.
Kind of in the same situation I was when I was your age. But I would always encourage you to, just slow it down a little bit. spend more time with them because I can remember in the past that, I was so focused on making money because I was the only sole provider. Often overlooked or ignored certain things where I should have paid more attention to. But yeah, family first, definitely. And work's important, but yeah, it takes a steady second.
Listen, guys, thank you so much for coming in and doing this today. I'm very fortunate. Both of you are just fantastic guys, tremendous paramedics. And you've been at it a long time, John. People are very fortunate when you show up because you've seen it all. And Logan, you've got the right mindset, the right attitude. You're doing all the right things. And you're going to have an incredible career ahead of you.
And just to add that, like I said, there's very few people that I extend the compliments to. I think highly of Logan. I think he'll go a long way. He's very capable. He's come a long way in a short time. And for all you people out there that think I'm not approachable, if y'all ever need to ask me anything, feel free. Even if I don't say hi or wave or whatever, I'm actually a nice guy.
You are.
I think you both. The list of people who have helped me and taught me things is so long. I couldn't even include all the names, but both you, John, and Jason have really helped me out, and it's been fun. I enjoy working here. I feel like all the supervisors here are fantastic. All 4 of them are really good to me. They treat me well. The partners that I've worked with along the way have just been great. Even the bad ones have taught me what not to be. So I really appreciate everyone for everything that they've done for me, especially you two. I really do appreciate everything that John's taught me.
And just to add, one final note from me. Doesn't matter how long you've been in this business, how old you are, you can always learn from the new people coming in. Where I've learned some things from Logan. He's a very smart guy, and it rekindled some things in my mind, and it helped me be a better paramedic for the time I have.
Well said. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Boom.
Thank you for listening to In Service, the EMS podcast, where frontline experience meets leadership insight. If you have found value in this conversation, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. You will find links in the episode notes.